Ain't I a woman? In 1851, Sojourner Truth's fiery words shook the fight for equality. Join us for Ain't I a Woman? Sojourner Truth's 1851 call for equality, a journey into a speech that still echoes today. Let's travel back to May 29th, 1851, at the Old Stone Church in Akron, Ohio. The Women's Rights Convention is underway, a gathering of activists fighting for women's suffrage and equality in a deeply divided America. Slavery still grips the nation. 4 million Black Americans are enslaved, and women, both black and white, are denied basic rights like voting, owning property, or speaking in public forums. The abolitionist and women's rights movements are intertwined, but tensions simmer. Many white suffragists hesitate to include Black women in their cause, fearing it will dilute their fight. Into this charged atmosphere steps Sojourner Truth, a 54-year-old Black woman, formerly enslaved, now a preacher, abolitionist, and advocate for women's rights. Her speech, later titled Ain't I a Woman? By Frances Dana Barker Gage in 1863, will become a cornerstone of both movements. Sojourner Truth, born Isabella Bounfree in 1797 in Ulster County, New York, knows hardship intimately. Born into slavery, she spoke only Dutch until she was 9, when she was sold away from her family. Over the years, she endured brutal treatment, beatings, sexual abuse, and the heartbreak of having 5 children, most of whom were sold into slavery. In 1826, a year before New York abolished slavery, she escaped with her infant daughter, Sophia, famously saying, "I did not run off, for I thought that wicked, but I walked off, believing that to be all right." She later sued to free her son Peter, becoming one of the first Black women to win a court case against a white man. In 1843, she renamed herself Sojourner Truth, vowing to travel the land, speaking truth about slavery and women's rights. By 1851, she's a well-known figure in abolitionist circles, her deep voice and commanding presence captivating audiences. Sojourner takes the stage in Akron, a rare Black woman speaking at a mostly white convention. The crowd is uneasy. Some ministers in attendance have just argued that women are too weak, too delicate to deserve equal rights, and that the Bible places them below men. Sojourner, unscripted and unafraid, begins with a simple question that cuts through the noise. Well, children, where there is so much racket, there must be something out of kilter. She points out the hypocrisy of the arguments against women's rights, noting that between the plight of enslaved Black people in the South and the fight for women's equality in the North, the world is indeed out of balance. Her voice, described as deep and resonant, carries a Dutch-influenced accent, a reminder of her New York roots, not the Southern dialect later attributed to her by Gage. Sojourner launches into the heart of her speech, challenging the idea that women are weak. She declares that she has plowed fields, planted crops, and gathered harvests in her barns, work as grueling as any man's, and no man could outdo her. She asks the crowd, with a mix of defiance and humor, "And ain't I a woman?" She recounts lifting heavy loads, working from sunrise to sunset, enduring the same hardships as men, yet society denies her the same rights. She shares a painful memory, bearing 13 children, most of whom were sold into slavery, and crying out with a mother's grief while men told her to be quiet because she's a woman. Again, she asks, "And ain't I a woman?" Her words are a powerful rebuttal to the stereotypes of women as fragile and of Black women as less than human, demanding recognition for her strength and humanity. She turns to the religious arguments, taking on the claim that women shouldn't have rights because Christ was a man. Sojourner, a devout Christian, counters with sharp wit. If the first woman, Eve, was strong enough to turn the world upside down all by herself, then surely the women in this room, working together, can turn it right side up again. And as for Christ, she reminds the crowd that he came from God and a woman. Man had nothing to do with it. The audience laughs and cheers, her logic cutting through centuries of patriarchal theology. Sojourner's faith is unshakable. She sees God as a champion of justice, and she believes women, black and white, are part of that divine plan for equality. Now, let's pause and ask ourselves, what does equality mean to you? Sojourner Truth demanded recognition for her worth as a black woman in a world that denied her humanity. In 2025, as we face ongoing battles for racial and gender justice, pay gaps, systemic racism, and debates over bodily autonomy, what are we doing to turn the world right side up again? Are we challenging stereotypes, fighting for the marginalized, and standing up for what's right, just as Sojourner did? Her question, "Ain't I a woman?" challenges us to see the humanity in everyone, to fight for a world where equality isn't just a dream, but a reality. Sojourner concludes with a nod to the growing women's movement, noting that men are already talking about how women's rights are stirring things up. She says if the women are getting together to make a stir, let them keep on stirring. Her final words are a rallying cry, urging the women in the room to keep fighting, to keep pushing for change. The crowd erupts in applause, many moved to tears by her raw honesty and unyielding spirit. Sojourner's speech, though brief, leaves an indelible mark, a testament to her courage in a room where her very presence as a black woman speaking out was revolutionary. The "Ain't I a Woman?" speech wasn't recorded at the time. Marius Robinson's 1851 transcription in the Anti-Slavery Bugle captures its essence, while Francis Gage's 1863 version, with its Southern dialect, popularized the title phrase but took liberties with Truth's words. Historians debate the exact phrasing, noting that Truth's Dutch accent and lack of Southern roots make Gage's version less authentic. But the message endures. Sojourner continued her activism until her death in 1883 at age 86, working with Frederick Douglass, meeting Abraham Lincoln in 1864, and advocating for freed black Americans after the Civil War. Her speech became a cornerstone of feminist and abolitionist history, quoted by activists like Bell Hooks and Angela Davis, and dramatized by actresses like Kerry Washington, whose 2005 recitation brought Truth's words to new audiences. In 2025, Sojourner Truth's "Ain't I a Woman?" speech remains a powerful call for justice. We've made progress since 1851. Slavery was abolished in 1865. Women gained the right to vote in 1920, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed segregation. But inequality persists. Black women still face a wage gap, earning 67 cents for every dollar a white man earns, according to 2024 data from the U.S. Census Bureau. Intersectional feminism, a term coined by Kimberly Crenshaw in 1989, owes a debt to Sojourner, who highlighted the unique struggles of black women long before the concept had a name. Her speech reminds us that true equality means uplifting everyone, especially those society has marginalized the most. Sojourner Truth's "Ain't I a Woman?" speech is a timeless demand for equality, a reminder to fight for justice with courage and conviction. In 2025, let's honor her legacy by standing up for what's right, challenging inequality, and amplifying marginalized voices. So, how will you fight for equality today? Hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear Sojourner's story, and subscribe for more stories of resilience, justice, and change. Until next time, keep stirring the pot, and keep fighting for what's right.